Alright, so in this video what we're going to do is try to find the solutions to this inequality here. And the reason it's called an inequality is because we have an inequality symbol here, and in this case this is less than. Okay, so to solve an inequality like this, what you want to do is isolate the x. So you want to treat it like an equation. So I'll make a note over here that we want to treat it like an equation. Treat, whoops, let me undo that really quick. Treat like an equation. So I always keep that in the back of my head here, that I want to treat it like an equation, just like we did in the past. So when we solve for equations, we always want to leave x by itself. So notice right here that I'm adding an 11. Okay, so to get rid of that addition of an 11, I want to go ahead and subtract 11 on both sides of the inequality. Okay, and just remember that this creates a giant 0 here. That way the x is by itself. So what I'm going to do is create a giant 0 here. This cancels off. Okay, and on the left side of the inequality, I'm left with just x on its own, and I have less than. Okay, and right here 13 minus 11 will give you a 2. Okay, so once you solve for this 2 here, notice that x is by itself, so this number is known as a boundary point. So let me make a note here that this 2 right there, very important, is a boundary point. Oops, let me spell boundary correctly here. Okay, so we found the boundary point. Okay, so you normally put the boundary point right here somewhere in the middle, so I'll put it here. And we want to find out is whether the boundary is included or excluded, meaning is it an open or closed circle. Okay, and if you took notes in the beginning of the class, right, notice that this inequality right here, there's no equal bar. So that means that it's an open circle. So this means that the boundary point is an open circle, or that's the same thing as saying excluded. That means that the 2 is not part of your answers, right? So not part of answers. Not part of the answers. And notice that I'm using answers here, but I should probably use the word solutions, not part of these solutions. Use bigger words here. Okay. Alright, so that's what that means there. So that means that this is an open circle just like that, so I don't fill it in because 2 is not part of it. Now the thing is, we have to decide whether our answers are to the left of 2 or to the right of 2. Okay, so to do that, you have to put in the rest of the numbers here, so I'll put them in green. So to the left of 2, we have 1, 0, -1, -2, and -3. To the right of 2, we have 1, not 1 actually, we have 3. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, and what we want to do is figure out which side do I go. Do I go to the left or to the right? So notice if we read this here, we're saying 2 is smaller than all the answers. So if you test out a point, so let's say you test out, let's use gold here. So let's say I test this point out, right? So let's say I test out 1. So if you want to test out 1, is 2 smaller than 1? So notice that I replaced the x with the 1. Is 2 smaller than 1? If you compare these, this is a no. Okay, 2 is not smaller than 1. So you know you don't have to go, you're not going to go this way to the left. So then you test out another point. Let's say I test something to the right. Okay, test out something to the right. Let's say I test out the 3. So I put 2 is smaller than 3. Now you compare those, right? Is 2 smaller than 3? And this is, yeah, of course. 2 is smaller than 3. That means that I'm going to go ahead and shade in this way over here. So I go this way, and I put like a giant arrow going this way. So all these answers are bigger than 3, okay? And that was just by reading this part right here. And what I'm doing is, when I test out a point, when I tested out the 1, I replaced it here on the X, and I found out that this is not true, this is a no. But if I put the 3 in here, it's a yes. So that's how I knew I had to go ahead and shade to the right instead of the left. Also to keep in mind, some students don't like it written this way, so you could also, so I'm going to put here or, you could write it this way where the X comes first. And what you can do, notice that this symbol right here is eating the X, so you make sure that when you reflect it, you make sure it's eating the X here as well, and then you put a 2 here. So this is another way you could see it as well. Alright, so hopefully this video is helpful on understanding how to solve these kind of inequalities.